Hi everyone, hope you're doing well and happy Thursday. And I can't believe it's already almost the end of January. That's just crazy to me. But anyway, today I wanted to share another tech tool with you. This one is called Zapier. And Zapier, it's not for everyone. You might want to make sure you're a little more on the tech savvy side before attempting to use Zapier, or have a friend who's already using it or who is tech savvy who can help you figure it out. But basically, I refer to Zapier as the duct tape of business. I heard someone else refer to it as the middleman for technology. And so what it does is it connects two different apps to do what you want it to do. So a great example, well, there's a lot, but one of my examples that I use it for, you guys have heard me talk a lot about Process Street. We currently use Process Street to track workflow for onboarding a new client. There are a lot of steps we want to make sure we cover, from what we communicate to the client, from matching them with a Freedom Maker, also to once they get started, where do we need to annotate that within our internal systems, adding them to our Slack, creating a Slack channel for them, adding them to Streak and things like that. So we want to make sure we cover all of that. And so we have a pretty extensive workflow checklist in Process Street. So when a client wants to start with us, they fill out a form that indicates a summary of the tasks they want us to do for them, when they would like to meet with a few Freedom Makers, and estimate of how many hours per week or per month they're going to need, things like that. Some information that we need in order to get started. I created a Zap to, when they fill out that form, the Zap automatically launches a new checklist in Process Street specifically for that client. And so that gets us started. In the past, I would just do it manually. I would receive notification through email that someone had filled out the form, and then I would go and type that information into Process Street, which led to a mistake here and there, and that's something we want to avoid. So now I use a Zap, and the Zap takes the information from the form in JotForm and automatically fills it out in Process Street and launches a new checklist in Process Street. So that's an example. That's the duct tape. It connects JotForm and Process Street, or it's the middleman, as someone else said, where it connects those two. Another example has to do around communication. So using Process Street again, when one of us is working on something and you can make comments in the tasks. And for us, since it's a client onboarding checklist, when we're making comments, it's usually pretty important. It's something that the client has requested, or it's something that someone needs to know for when they're interacting with the client the next time, things like that. And so that's critical information that is being shared in the comments section on each task. One of the downsides with Process Street is that there isn't really any indication that someone has made a comment. On the dashboard, it'll say the total number of comments, and so you might need to remember what the number was in order to know that there was a change. Or there is a section where you can go see the comments, and then you can see, okay, I've already seen all those, or no, that's a new one. And so what we ended up doing is we created a Zap so that whenever someone makes a comment on any task in Process Street, it sends it specifically to one channel in Slack. So I get it instantly and everyone else gets it instantly. And that way we know when there's a comment that's been made and we're not missing anything, any critical information. So those are just two pretty basic examples. Like I said, the reason why they try to make it as user-friendly as possible, but the reason why that it can get a bit confusing is you have to find the right place to either capture the information or send the information. So for example, in the one I gave about when someone makes a comment in Process Street, it sends it to a Slack channel. We created a Slack channel specifically for Process Street messages. But at first it was just the comment, but then I went in and added the name of the checklist. And so now when someone makes a comment, the name of the checklist comes up first, there's a space, and then the actual comment. There's probably even a way to capture who made the comment, but that's an example of where it was beyond my technical skills to be able to figure out what option to select so that would come up. And so that's where it gets a little bit hinky, is when you're trying to figure out what the code that you need to select. You're not typing anything, you're just selecting it so that specific piece of information comes across in your Zap. And so that's where it gets a little hinky. And if you have a friend who's done it, or you can, I'm sure there's a ton of YouTube videos on if you're trying to build a certain type of Zap. And the thing is a lot of Zaps are already pre-created, but it's those little details where you have to select the right one where it can get a bit confusing. So just wanted to give you a heads up about that. Once you play around with it, you start to get the hang of it, and then they become more fun. But if you just kind of look at it as like the duct tape or the middleman, you're just using it to connect two different apps, it can be really powerful toward automating or just making things easier or getting it in the way you want, right? Going back to that commenting on Process Street, they have it set up to where you can get email notifications for all these comments. And you guys know how much I can't stand email. So of course, I don't want to get email notifications for comments. So I created that Zap to have them go to Slack. And so that's the nice thing, is that it basically gives you a lot more flexibility in getting your business tools to work the way you want them to work for your business. And that's basically it. We might do one where we actually share our screen and show you how to build a Zap, and that'll come later. But for now, I just want to give you that highlight for the tech tool called Zapier. All right, I hope you're having a great week, and I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.